So, you wish to earn money from the arena? Well, do sit back and watch this video as I give you instructions on how to do so in Gekokujo-Daimyo edition. First things first, if you're making a character centered around bows, they are still great for destroying entire arenas, but one should be careful, since the combat area is rather small in the mod. If one wishes to make a melee-centered character, I suggest using the two-handed skill practice weapons, as they tend to have either high speed or damage, or perhaps even both. Here's a tier list of the practice weapons besides bows that are usable within the arena. The best melee weapon for the arena is definitely the practice kanabo, as it has the ability to crush through blocks and reliably one-shots enemies if one hits the head, yet possessing very good range and speed. One of the better melee weapons in this mode would be the practice nodachi and katana, since they have great damage and decent speed. The practice katana might have less damage and range, but it makes up for it in sheer speed, so one can always reliably KO enemies without having high weapon skill. The yari, jo and wakizashi are weapons that need skill investment to make them better, but I argue that the yari and jo are still more useful, as long reach polearms can be handy in field battles, particularly against warrior monks. The worst possible weapon to get in the arena would be the practice naginata, as it has very little range and slow swing speed that makes one vulnerable to katana or nodachi attacks. A reliable way to beat the whole arena with melee is to pick up a practice kanabo and just hold the overhead swing until the enemy is close enough to hit. This will result in two things. Either the enemy's block gets crushed through and the enemy is vulnerable to a follow-up attack, or the enemy gets one shot. One of the better tips I can give about fighting is that one can do an axel by moving left or right depending on the direction of the attack. I don't recommend that one do an axel with rotating the mouse, since it can actually reduce the amount of damage one does if it is done improperly. Chambering attacks are also a way to fight the enemy, but since you get stunned from a hit and can get knocked out from even 2 enemy strikes, I don't recommend doing this. You'll lose out on cash, as 250 mon is only earned by KOing everyone. Get knocked out by the last guy and you only earn 60 mon. Due to the length of weapons, such as the practice yari, going to third person mode might help with gauging distance better than in first person, to further use its length to your advantage. That, and since the arena clothing has wide sleeves, it can obstruct one's view in first person. And the two-handed overhead also has the player's left arm in front of the face. All in all, that's all the tips I can give. Link to the mod is in the description, and as always, have a nice day.